All right. We are in.
We're in.
All right. We are in.
We're in. Right on.
We're live.
We are.
Live.
We're
Okay.
live with all the things. Ooh, that's a different one.
Oh, yeah.
It's a little different.
That is different.
It's different. Not a bad different, but I'd like to see you for second date different. Like,
Hey, did you like the opening of the show last week?
I haven't listened to last week's show yet.
Okay, it's your rendition of "It's Hard Out Here to Be a Pimp."
It is hard out here to be a pimp. Don't
Yeah, I
you?
mean it's not a lie.
It's hard out here to be a pit man. It's hard out here to just be everything at this point in time. The way the world and everything's moving and grooving. But I have this week's good idea, bad idea.
Okay.
Remember?
Oh, Jesus. Okay.
So we believe in full support here, and by we I mean me, and I mean show out support. So the Bearded Wonder had a pop up over the weekend for Super Bowl. You know, yours truly. I had to go out, so I went, showed up like 20, 25 before, and I just stood in front, just awkwardly, just standing in front of the line. I know what's going on in the back end, but people just look at me like I'm crazy. I'm like, no. This is what needs to happen. So cheat code for anybody out there doing pop-ups, bring an extra buddy with you when you're setting up and just have them stand in front of the line, just waiting until you're ready. Because psychologically it forces people to get that immediate feeling of FOMO, fear of missing out. So people, eventually came up behind me like, what are you waiting for? It's like, oh, barbecue. It's like, is it good? And I'm being honest. I'm not lying. I said, no, it's great. This guy makes amazing sausages. His last pop-up he did a week ago, he sold out in under 2 hours. So I wanted to make sure I got my order in early. And that's what I was telling the people in the line. So more and more people got in line by me. Like, what are you getting? I was like, well, I'm getting a big order. I'm getting some, a couple pounds of brisket and some sausages and this and that. Like, that's a lot of food. It's like, yeah,
Super Bowl.
it's Super Bowl. He sells out fast. I want to get mine now. Like that's just what it is. So good idea, bad idea. Good idea. Go support your barbecue buddy at his pop-up. Bad idea. Put in a hefty like $200+ order for the first order and make it to go.
Hey, you know what? We had I knew what was going to happen. I knew. So good idea. People shouldn't feel bad about people waiting in line for barbecue.
Yeah,
Take it an order at a time.
exactly.
Like,
Yeah.
don't like get a stack of tickets, because when you get a stack of tickets, people walk away and they get impatient. But if you haven't taken their order yet, they're more likely to be patient with you.
Yeah, very
Yeah.
true. And for one of the things I do during my events when I've got my little barbecue cutie helping me, Miss Kara, we chop up pieces of brisket and we'll work the line. Mm-hmm. Like, when we stock up, we make sure everybody in line gets a little nibble, something to entice them. Like, yeah, I'm not walking away from this right here. So that's my good idea, bad idea.
No, I appreciate the support.
Anytime, man. I guess I should go to the opening before we hit like 30 minutes into the show, right?
Yeah, I mean, we have a problem of we do that late title crawl.
Yeah, we do. So let's hit that in right now. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Rasheed Phillips, and welcome to This Week in Barbecue, the barbecue-focused podcast that introduces you to both the good, the bad, and everything in between in the world of barbecue. Joining me is my amazing co-host, Mr.
Brian Hull.
And on the third mic you can't see, say hey, Lee.
How's it going, guys?
Lee makes us look like we know what we're doing, and we're excited.
Semi-professional.
Semi, not too semi.
Yeah.
We don't want
Not
to
too
be
semi.
real pros, because then there's
Expectations.
Expectation.
We just
Yeah,
can't
yeah,
do that. We're like the first time out on amateur night, and we kill it, but we never go back again. And on a high note.
Hey, can we start with a non-barbecue related question?
Okay.
We brought it up last week.
Okay.
Okay, who are your top NBA players of all time?
Who are my top NBA players of all time?
Because when I said LeBron might not even be my number two,
My top, in no particular order.
You got to put them in order.
No. I'm just saying my top five scattered around there in no particular order. Bill Russell, Magic Johnson, LeBron James, Kobe Bryant, Bird.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Left field.
Whoa.
Left field.
That's not where I expected this to
I
go.
know. No one saw it. No one sees it coming. That's
I
what's
mean,
up.
so I'm going. All right, I'll put them in order.
Okay.
Go reverse.
Go for it. They're going to yell at you, not me.
They'll yell at me. Let's see. I probably do Magic Johnson 5, like just edging out Kobe.
What? Wait, did you? So what you're saying? Kobe's not in the top 5?
No.
Oh, they are going to go after you. If anybody who dribbles a ball, they're coming after you.
Then LeBron is 4.
Richard, get him.
LeBron's 4.
Okay.
Kareem's 3.
I need to know who the hell 1 and 2 are.
Bill Russell's number 2 and Michael Jordan's number 1.
How did you put Mike above Russell? Mike doesn't even put himself above Russell.
Mike changed the game.
It's true, but no one's touching Bill.
No one's touching Bill.
No one's touching Bill.
Look. If we had Bill highlights, we do have a Bill Russell documentary now.
Yeah,
but if
Netflix.
we had Bill highlights, Bill was probably number 1. But I remember Jordan was the most hated, my most hated player growing up, because it's like, how do you beat this guy? Every time he would go, I was rooting against Jordan at all times, and he would find a way to come, that Utah Jazz series where he's just put him on the back, destroyed all hopes and dreams. Mm-hmm. They think they're gonna win, and he just ice cold goes up and throws that shot up.
Yeah,
no.
And
The reason I won't put LeBron higher is I'm not
mad at LeBron's position.
Yeah.
I'm not mad at LeBron.
I think I won't even hold the decision video against him. He was a free agent. Come on, man. He can pick whatever. I think post Miami Heat, he's kind of a bad teammate. I mean, would you want to play on a post Miami LeBron James team when you're not a superstar level talent?
Well, for me, I'm built different. If I'm not a superstar level talent, I'm getting there. I can't get mad at how he behaves because he feels like that's his only option. I've got to, act accordingly and showcase in a way that makes his move seem ridiculous. Like, yo, you do have a dominant other player here.
Yeah.
But the fact that you don't have Kobe in your top 5, good luck to you in the comment section.
Dude, Kobe's 6.
I want no parts.
I mean, if we're talking about if we're talking about mentality, it's Michael Jordan 1, Kobe Bryant 2. Mamba mentality is honestly his dedication to the game.
I would only put Kobe above Michael in that because, and we all know, depending on what you want, but Kobe didn't tap out. Kobe didn't leave to go try other stuff. Kobe stayed. He's like, I'm not going anywhere. Kobe's like, I'm going to gnaw my leg off if I have to. This is all it is, Mike had built in some time. He could go ahead and do all that stuff.
Well, he did it mostly because of his dad.
Yeah, I get that too, but still, Kobe
and Kobe never gave us Space Jam.
Oh, yeah. Despite LeBron giving us Space Jam too, I still have him in the top 5.
I haven't watched that yet.
Do yourself a favor, don't. It's not worth it.
All I saw was the screenshot of they somehow worked in the what is the Stanley Kubrick movie based on the book that shouldn't be in a kids movie?
Well,
Malcolm McDowell and the white suits. I'm blanking on the name. I should know this movie.
I'm blanking too.
Yeah.
You got me.
Hold on. I'm going to look it up because I'm going to feel stupid if I don't get this right.
The drogues?
Yeah. Clockwork Orange.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. No, there was in the new Space Jam movie, they're sitting courtside in a scene. I'm that's cool. They should not show up in a kids movie whatsoever.
Well, there was a lot of things growing up in kids movies that we had that should not have shown up in them, but.
No, I mean, but they're trying to make this do the MCU connected universe thing.
Yeah.
Don't Clockwork Orange people should not in your connected universe.
Got it. No, that was a good one. That's gonna be. Yeah, we need to break out of this one because this will be
immediately
very very interesting. But yeah, we've got a few little minor touch points before we get into our Q&A episode today. AI-powered grills. So I was doing some old digging on the interwebs, and there is a company out there called Brisk It. Separated play on words oh, so clever. Let me guess they're based in Texas. and it is a fully AI powered rig, fully controlled. Like, it's weird to explain. Like, I'll link the promo video, but it's very weird. It sort of takes a bit from everything, and really their ad makes it. It's like, hey, so glorified easy bake oven. You know, you can, who wants to be king of the grill when you can just relax instead, type of thing. Like, it's I think it's almost it's the equivalent to glamping, but for barbecuing. It is so weird. Like, it can somehow detect what type of protein meat you have on there and how long it needs to do everything. It's really weird. And I'm just like, that doesn't belong in barbecue, maybe, but we are in the AI generation.
Is it going to wrap your brisket for you?
It's such a weird thing.
Does it trim and season for you? Like, does it know to add the Lowry's?
Oh, can't forget the Lowry's, and don't you forget that turtle seasoning.
Turtle seasoning.
No, it was a very weird ad, and I was just like, is this the future? Is AI the future of barbecue? Because you already have pizza places trying out the pizza machines to serve pies, and they've got the chicken wing machine that's doing chicken wings. And you could see it. I think the wing machine is in New York, and they've got it, clear plexi so you can watch it make all your stuff. So what do you guys think? Is AI taking over barbecue?
I mean, McDonald's rolled out the AI ordering system that's going smashingly well.
Oh, so well. Nothing ever goes wrong when you order from
Hey, you want a Mountain Dew? Get a medium Coke. I mean, in fairness, they don't serve Mountain Dew. So, like, the person ordering that, but it doesn't detect that you're saying something that they don't have. It just adds an item.
Yeah.
Like,
that's great. Yeah. That's great. And I want to know, do you miss me when we're not filming? I asked you this.
Yeah, you know what? And I don't get invited to these steak dinners or anything. So
I don't know if you are you just coming here for the liquor? Is that what it is?
I'm not a big drinker, so like the liquor is not the enticement. So
no, I love it because I saw that video of those two guys. And they cracked me up because I could not stop laughing because he was so hurt. He's like, you've been spending a lot of time with Toby lately. I'm starting to feel a little hurt here. Like, what's going on?
You get paid to be here. You don't get paid. Like,
you don't get paid to be with Toby. You were Toby when you're free.
Hey, I don't get paid. I don't get paid yet to be here, so I enjoy being here.
Yeah, we'll see. Like I said,
we'll see. Okay.
See. No, but if you guys don't know, I'll link back that post that I put up there. It's just, you got to have that barbecue buddy love. I just could not stop laughing at it. And it just hit home.
If I didn't enjoy being here or doing stuff, I wouldn't have brought you. On the day I'm prepping for another pop-up, I wouldn't have brought you a ton of Manchego links for your own pop-up.
Are there Manchego links here?
They're not Manchego links here, but I specialty made some and showed up at your own pop-up when I could have been cooking.
I know. I appreciate it. Thank you. Now, this question, before we get into, is my own, because I mentioned it briefly last episode, but saw it again at the pop-up. Cash only, card only, or both? What do you do?
I'm card only because I just don't want to be carrying around the extra cash to deal with change. And I also have a rotation of people that usually help me on the front end. And so it's just one step that I don't want to. I don't want someone to feel like they have to do perfect math at the front and that they're going to screw something up. And taking that element away, it speeds up our ordering time because we don't have to hand out people change. I do understand the argument that you are that you're disenfranchising a certain part of the community that doesn't have cards and don't use banks. So I do understand that argument. And that's something, like, if I'm going to be in a restaurant situation, I don't want to do. But for pop-ups, like I said, since I'm like changing out people who are helping on the front end, I don't have a constant there. And I also don't want to have to be responsible for carrying cash, making sure I get it to the bank. I'm just eliminating steps so I can run it better because I'm doing most of this solo. So it's one less thing for me to think about in the back of my mind. And there's a downside to that too, because I do card only. Square takes their percentage every time. Like, I'm getting dinged. I lose about 3% on every pop-up.
Yeah.
So I mean that's the trade-off.
I get that. So for me, I do both.
Yeah.
And I prefer cash. I will get the lockbox, and that's funny. I think the last few pop-ups I did have. Shout out to Miss Molly, my not so little lady. She's 16 now, but she comes down and she helps me. She runs the register, and I pay her out for the day. But we do cash and card because you'll make more money. I personally feel as though I've made more with cash, and I will just literally go to the bank and get $100 in ones. And that's sort of my till, and I just write it on the top of the lid in chalk so that we know. And we use Square, so it just tells you exactly how much change, and I make sure there's no odd change like 50 cents here or this here. No, it's all round, even numbers. And here's the cheat code for you guys who are pricing your dishes. Don't price it always at like 25 or 20. Price it a little odd, like 21 or 24 or 23, because then you have that odd change back. You give it back, and most of the time they'll just put something on and drop it in a tip jar, and that can go to your person doing the register or help you cover your payout costs for the person. So I'll pay out Molly, and then she just gets all of the tip money. That's just what that is. So that works for me. She gets all the tip out cash, and we use the house tip cash for covering expenses on card. But when I sat down and I did the numbers, and I realized just how much I was losing paying them for their service fees and this fee and all of that, I was like, God, that's a lot. And your banks love you when you bring in cash too, because this was really during the pandemic where no one had cash or change. So because everyone was afraid to touch paper money, they love when I'd bring in cash, and they'd give me little extra perks. So I remember once something through Square had given me like an additional 1,000 free taps for purchases for my pop-ups because of it. And I was like, okay, that's great, because that means they're not going to ding me for that. And we'll ask, like, tap to pay, great cash, all right, great. Some places actually, there's a Jamaican spot that I go to, they charge you less if you pay with cash.
Yeah, like cash, or some places get cash or debit, they charge you less.
Yeah, some gas stations too. But I would personally love to hear from you guys who are on the circuit in the business, small mom and pop, or maybe you got a couple franchises. Are you running card only, cash only, both? Are you using Square, or using like Acorn or some of the other top level POS systems? Like, I think Square is a great intro up to a dollar amount. Once you cross that certain dollar amount, you're better off going to one of these industry standard payment systems, because then Square really starts to hit you and hurt your bottom line. But that's just me. I'd ask. Alrighty. And you want to start off our questions?
Well, I was going to say, so by the time everybody's listening, the first class is starting today for Leroy and Lewis's
right.
University U, but they have a second scheduled class for their spring. They're calling it the spring session, and they'll have like a fall, winter, or like a summer fall session. Okay. But March 3rd through 5th, so you could still sign up for that. And you can sign up till the day that they start the class. Okay. So I just want to remind people that if you're missing the one that starts today, you can still get the one that's going on in 2 weeks. All right.
Yeah. Right on. Other back news, anything top points you want to touch on?
No, I mean, that's the only one I really wanted to bring up, because I figure we could do a question heavy one. We got a backlog of questions.
Yeah. Shout out to Tim for being a constant listener, brother. I appreciate it. Thank you for the emails and the submission of questions. For those of you who have additional questions that didn't get them in on the link in time, you can always email us at thisweekinbarbecue@gmail.com, and that is where we get a fair amount of our questions submitted to as well, in tuning and hear our responses. But starting it off, Tim asked us a couple of questions. The first one: what are the effects of brisket oxidation, and what are some techniques you all use to avoid it from happening? So I'm going in the frame of mind that he's talking pre-cook, not post.
No, I think it's post-cook. Like when you slice it, that's when most people are talking about brisket oxidation.
I took it as the prep. because I wasn't sure if he was asking in regard. We'll address it as both, but I
Yeah,
wasn't sure if he was asking.
you take prep. I'll take post.
Yeah, so prep for me, and I figured he was asking because I mentioned how I leave mine. I'll let my briskets rest overnight, seasoned.
Right.
So for that, in order to eliminate it, I have a unique, not really unique, but I stack my briskets in their containers in a certain way that limits the amount of air that's in there, and then I saran wrap. But a lot of people make the mistake of saran wrapping over and down, where you actually need to saran wrap down and up, where you're pushing as much air out of that container and vessel as possible. And that I have found really eliminates any level of oxidation occurring over it, like any parts of the exterior getting dried up and crusted out, that brown, any of that stuff like that happening, that slight gray shift changing. I found that removes it. But if you do it the other way, you will see a difference. That's sort of why you can see it in like grocery stores, like that you can see the color changing happen on some of the meats on the ones that are just top level saran wrap versus the ones that are vacuum sealed with all the air pushed out. That's what I was thinking he was thinking about, but let's get your take too.
If you're talking about when it comes to like service and when you're slicing a brisket, yeah, like as soon as you slice a brisket, I mean the trick that you'll see most if you go to a barbecue restaurant, you'll kind of see them slicing in the middle, and what they'll do is they'll immediately, if they're getting lean, or if they're getting fatty and not lean, they'll immediately turn so the slice side of the lean is touching the board where there should be some tallow residue to keep it moist. Because if you leave that side open, it's going to oxidize and dry out quickly. There are a couple things you can do. When I'm slicing brisket, do you do the swipe?
Oh, and hit it with a little bit of
Yeah. So if you watch it, like a really good cutter, usually, especially if they do the thing where they'll pour the tallow back over the brisket.
Which you should definitely be doing. Don't toss that tallow.
Yeah,
that's
use
ridiculous.
They'll take a slice, and they'll usually, when they put it on the scale, they'll kind of wet their fingers with the tallow from the board and kind of give it like a little, like the slice is a little wipe with that tallow. And that tallow will kind of form a protective shield over the brisket so it doesn't oxidize as quickly.
Exactly.
So that when you go take photos, you have a nice looking brisket instead of like a dry looking brisket. So that's why, like, if you notice when they take a slice, even slice of fatty, they'll turn and they'll put the slice side down on the board. Now, I mean, this happens with other things besides brisket. Like if you cut some ribs and there's that thing of ribs, you can have an oxidized slice. So one thing I learned is shout out to Lane of Goldie's. He kind of taught me this. You can cut off a really small strip of the rib on that end cut and just cut off a little sliver, and that's so that your next slice is already, you don't have that dry bit that you're serving to the customer.
Yeah.
I mean, so yeah, it's not just brisket. It's basically any meat that's exposed to air for too long. Brisket is the main, like, honestly, it oxidizes quicker than anything else.
Yeah, it does. But mind you, the swipe, the tallow, none of it will fix a bad brisket.
Right.
We've watched videos, and we have a new series that we're going to be putting out where we've seen people cut a brisket and it is immediately dry. I'm like, there was never any moisture in this thing. I'm like, what happened? I'm sure you've seen it too. We've sent each other shots. We're like, what happened here? Like, where were they going with it? Because what?
All right. So, actually, this is a good question. Speaking of bad brisket.
Okay.
CK_Cumber asked, what's the deal with chopped brisket? He was saying that he feels like it's the bad way to serve brisket. Anytime he gets it, he feels like it tastes like pot roast. Are you doing it for an overcooked brisket? Are you doing it for an undercooked brisket? What's the deal with what?
I think it is both. I think it's also a way of people being able to make it through these crazy prices right now. And it's an efficiency thing because instead of them having to worry about it getting fully rendered out, fully set, they can cook it till technically internal safe temp and then just chop it so finely that it's okay. It's sort of like Skylight Inn. They do chopped pork, not pulled pork.
Right.
Shout out to Sam Jones and the whole crew over there and their choppers. But I think it's a way of them being able to save money and save time. I don't offer chopped brisket. You offer, but
yeah.
But what is your reasoning behind serving it?
Okay, so Mine comes down to sometimes with the aggressive trim, that Texas style trim where you leave what we call the mohawk or the tomahawk, that like the hanging chad.
Yeah.
Whereas
the
there's
hump,
the
the
hump.
hump. You know,
Yeah.
hey, I'm all about a good hump, bro.
Yeah, yeah. So I mean, but there's that huge band of fat that you're never gonna fully render. You can get like burn ends and stuff out of there, but under that is like the leanest part of the brisket. It doesn't, like, after you get done slicing your fatty, that section does not make good slices. It does make good chopped brisket for sandwiches because you can mix in a little bit of the fat that you've rendered from there. And if you chop it well enough and it's cooked right, the problem is if it's not cooked right, you're not going to have good chopped brisket.
No.
A properly cooked chopped brisket is going to lead to good chopped brisket. You can also do tricks like, again, mixing in a little tallow, saucing it. Like there are ways to get, like, I had really good chopped beef or chopped brisket sandwich at Railhead Barbecue.
Yeah, there's a difference. There's a difference between chopped beef and chopped brisket.
Right, yeah. And then I think Goldie's has a really good chopped brisket sandwich. But it's about using the parts that you know aren't going to be great for slicing. Say that, like, the lean end got a little bit more burnt up and it's got a little more crust. That's still going to make good chopped brisket because it's going to have, like, texture with the other meat that's, like, a little fattier. Like, he was mentioning that it tastes like pot roast, and that led me to be thinking like they're wrapping too early, or they're wrapping with like beef broth, like, and they're basically they're smoking, then basically braising the briskets.
Why would you wrap with beef broth? Yeah, that's not.
You haven't seen the competition stuff?
You know I hate competition barbecue.
Don't say that out loud. They listen. There are dozens of them.
They listen.
By dozens, maybe two.
They listen to us.
No, I mean, yeah, I mean, you've never seen like where they do the beef consomme and shake it with like the
I've seen. I remember all the, and I get it, but it's just like here.
Yeah, I mean, you are making a pot roast at that point.
You are.
Yeah.
I promise to spritz thoroughly. Sorry, that Luther. You know,
Yeah,
I love Luther.
I mean, there is a point to chop brisket. Like if I feel that like my flat isn't servable, like I feel like it doesn't make good slices, I make the decision. I'll do chopped brisket, put it for chopped brisket sandwich. If someone wants chopped brisket, they can have it, but I'm not going to serve that as slices.
Here's free game, Chico. If you do end up in that position, go ahead and stop off, get you some Swiss, some buns, and get you a chopped brisket Philly, and you put that on your menu. Get creative with it. You know, serve it differently. You want to change how it's presented in a sense, and that's a great way to change the presentation of it.
Yeah, and like for me, like chopped brisket sandwiches, like I hit it with Alabama white sauce and put pickled chilies on it. It's just a different experience. Like it's a different vessel for eating brisket.
Speaking of Alabama white, Mr. Chris Lilly is going to be part of the South Beach Food and Wine Fest. That just popped into my mind because I was chatting with him earlier, and he had mentioned going out there. So I'll put a link to that as well. But shout out to Mr. Lilly, coldest cat slicing birds on this side of the Mississippi, man. Next question?
Yeah, let's go.
What is oh, here it is. Another one from Tim. Rasheed, are you actually going to take your spritz recipe to the grave, or will there be a deathbed confession?
I picture you like the Texas barbecue guy from Planet Terror, like where he's dying and he's like still not giving he's like not giving the recipe, or like until the other guy's guaranteed to die, and then he tells him, he's like, oh, that was it the entire time, and then they both die.
I think, who was it? I think it's Barbecue Beatdown. Shout out, brother. I think it was you who posted. You'd asked your abuelita for a recipe, and all she did was give you ingredients with no measurements and no order. She just said, and it was just like, piquito this, piquito that, that's all it was. And he goes, this is what happens when you ask your abuelita for a recipe. There's no instructions. It's just, here, go make it.
I mean, honestly, my favorite way of someone giving a recipe is still Rodney Scott on the meat show on Eater.
He had was it when Bradley Oney?
No, it was the Meat Hook guys.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, and they were talking about, it's like, so what's in your thing? It's like a little paprika, some more paprika.
He did one with Bradley Oney where he's shaking up the bin, and it pops out. It's like, yeah, we didn't need that part of it. Shout out to Rodney, man. I can't wait to get back up there, roll smoke, Brisket Bill, Uncle Bob. We'll see you guys soon, man. It's a good time around. That was, As far as the answer, it just took me so long to get. And it is really one of those things that does make my brisket taste different from like everyone else's. Like I've given you everything else, but the spritz is actually what makes it. And it took me so long. And I've got buddies who were there when I finally got it all right. And they're like, you got to put this stuff out there. It's like, yeah, I'm okay. I'm going to just let it ride for a while. But I'm thinking about it. You know, there's two keys to success. Key number 1, never tell everything you know.
Never give away the Crisco secret.
Exactly. It's nothing but Crisco. Lots and lots of Crisco.
We don't use tallow. We use Crisco.
It's all Crisco. Now, this one's for you. Brian, I know you previously said that the secret pint came from a song lyric, but you didn't say which song and why you picked the name. What's the story behind that?
Okay, so it's not a lyric. It's by a mostly instrumental band. They actually do sing in that song. The song is called Secret Pint by Mogwai off the album Rock Action. I don't even really like that song. I do really like the band. They have some of my favorite songs. But that name stuck out to me just because I was thinking at the time when I was just kind of thinking of a name, designing logo. Secret Pint played into kind of like people making moonshine. Mm-hmm. Yeah, like you get a secret pint of moonshine. Yeah. Like making moonshine in their bathtub. You get this little. So like originally, like the logo for me was going to be like a pint jar and secret pint, and like it went in a different direction.
That's very southern of you.
Yeah. So
very southern of you.
But yeah, it's off of an album called Rock Action, and it's the last song on the album. It's called Secret Pint, and then my smoker is named Helicon 1, off of their song called New Path to Helicon 1.
Ooh, I got a question.
Yeah.
If you had it's a two-parter.
Yeah.
Buckle up, it's a two-parter right now. Just popped into the old Chrome Dome here. If you had to get a new rig, what kind of rig would it be and who would build it?
No comment.
Oh.
I mean, look, it depends on what I'm trying. Okay, if I'm getting another 1,000-gallon.
You get a knock at the door tomorrow. They want to open up Secret Pint Barbecue. It's fully funded. Ted introduced us to somebody
who's giving me the free pit.
you just there's no there as part of opening up the restaurant. They're going to cover the cost of the build of the pit for you. What's it look like?
I'm not going to answer.
Yeah, it's just.
I'm taking the right road on this one.
Taking the right road? Is there such a thing?
No, I'm taking the less shade road.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, someone had asked me, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, it was Brother Brian Smith asked me
about Penny, right? Basically.
Yeah, he asked me about Penny. He said, if I had the opportunity to buy Penny, my current rig, as my first rig, would I? And then he followed up asking, would I buy my first rig again? And I said, you couldn't hold a gun to my head to have me buy my first rig again.
I agree with you 100%.
It was and I try to warn people. I said, if you're going to do low and slow barbecuing, do not get a diamond plated rig. Do not get diamond plate steel rigs. That's what I had. It is just a giant burn waiting to happen. Doesn't hold and retain. It's not the best. I don't care who does it, what have you. Don't touch them. Some do it really, really well, but I would not go back to what I'd gotten before for my first rig. Now, I appreciate my first rig because I think everyone needs a crappy first rig to learn all the hard ways to do everything and what have you, right? But if I could have gotten Penny for my first rig, I definitely would have. And I waited. I was on the waiting list like everyone else for Penny. I could sell Penny now and make double what I paid for it because that's how high steel prices have gone up since I had her made. But I would not buy my first rig again, but I would hands down buy Penny as my first if I could.
I would buy, like, if I could go back, knowing what I know now, I would have gotten a 250 primitive instead of the first rig I got, the first big rig I got.
Who was the first rig? Brian, he's not going to answer.
I'm not going to answer it. Look, they're nice guys.
Yeah, I know.
They're welders. They're not engineers.
Yeah.
So they made reverse flows, and I asked them to make a straight offset. and they did weird things,
was
and it cooked. The only thing I did right is I got them to build a bigger stack than they normally do and a wider stack than they normally do.
Yeah.
So it pulled well.
That helped your draft.
Yeah.
After draft.
But that was about it.
No, I get it. I just had to ask. But
no, funny thing, Brian Keenan and I, our first rigs were by the same company.
Really?
Yeah.
We got to get Keenan on here, man.
We do have to get
Keenan.
Keenan.
He's got to stop dodging me like a Matrix bullet, but we'll get him on here. But no, I wouldn't go back to the first run of them. It's just not. No. And especially now, I try to tell guys, go bigger than what you think. If you can afford it. If you were going to get a 250 and you have the space, go ahead and get a 5, depending on the cost, because you'll be surprised if you're actually doing this and you're passionate about it, how quickly that thing fills up.
I would say don't ever go, like if it's your first thing and you're not going into a restaurant, I'd say don't go over a 5.
Yeah. No, don't go get 1,000 gallon. That's silly.
That's insanity.
Save that save that Sunny for later, but you don't need that.
Yeah.
You shoot the next one, bud.
All right, so Blackstone or Traeger? I can only get one. Coach _ P _QC.
Is this your first time tuning in, brother? It's got to be the first time.
Hey, look, man. Like, dude,
those are two very different.
Yeah, like what type of cooking are you?
Yeah,
want to do?
That's the thing.
You want to make some awesome smash burgers and some chicken teriyaki and like have an all around awesome flat top cooker. Get a Blackstone
Smokehouse Hibachi.
Dude, like it's gonna be cheaper too. A Blackstone is way cheaper than a Traeger.
Very cheap. You can get a Blackstone, I think, for like $1.79 over at Home Depot.
Yeah, like
off season.
I think even the big one is like right around 400.
But those two are very, very different use cases.
Yeah,
you're not smoking on a Blackstone,
and you're not going to be able to get as high a temp for searing on a Traeger.
Very true. So weird middle. You're better off getting. I don't know. You could get a Traeger with a hot plate.
It's still like I don't even think like they're smoking sear. Like you're not going to get 700 degrees.
Nope. It does not hit 7.
Yeah,
you can get super smoke mode where you're back in like a 1994 movie theater with all that smoke, but that's all you're going to get.
So get a master built gravity fed.
Yes, I sure can.
Yeah, I mean that's probably if you're trying to
this isn't a plug, but I can get my 1050 north of 7 in less than 12 minutes,
and you can smoke on it.
And I can smoke on it.
Like so, you could throw you could throw one of those flat top like.
I think you could get 2. No, let me do the barbecue math. You could get 4 master built 1050s for the XL Timberline Traeger.
Okay. Well, and then if you wanted to, you could throw
which still that model still doesn't sear.
Yeah, you could throw one of those like flat top griddle cookers on top of your rack.
Yeah, the master built, they have one now. They have a griddle insert.
Okay.
And I think they just dropped a pizza oven insert too.
Okay, well there you go.
And you can get all of that for less than the price of one Traeger, and get a bag of coal.
You could get a master built and the Blackstone if you wanted to.
You could. you just do that. Hey, brother, so bump the Traeger, just get the master built. Well, you don't even need to get the Blackstone. All he has to do is get the flat top grill.
Yeah, I know. I know. I was joking that you could get both, though.
You're good. Yeah, if you got the space, man. What's next? What was that? Oh, I'll hit this one for you. Thoughts on Myron Mixon's line of water smokers versus traditional offsets? This is from SG Gainey.
So, I have used one of those water smokers before.
What do you think?
It's fine. I mean, like it depends on what you want to cook on it. Like, so for pork or chicken, I think they're fine.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think they're gonna cook brisket the same way as like an offset.
And why is that?
Like just the type of heat and also how moist that heat is. I know people hate that word, but like it like
moist.
This has been ASMR Hour
brought to you up by Moist Briskets.
No, it's just too much moisture in the chamber.
Yeah, it's like that bark is gonna fight.
Yeah. Again, those I think those rigs are are meant for like a different style of cooking.
I think so.
I'm like, there's a reason like I like traditional offset. I like to get that convective heat. You like the reverse flow for space, and that you can get both convective and radiant heat.
Yeah.
With the water smoker, you're filling up you're filling up a pan with water. You're getting some smoke in there, but you're also getting a lot of steam.
A ton of steam. And I distinctively remember watching an old episode of the original Pitmasters, and his sprung a leak during the cook, and that would freak me out. I'm like, last thing I want around my smoke is that much water. Just
I mean, the good thing is you probably don't get a grease fire, right?
But the bad thing is if you do get a grease fire, you're really screwed because it's spreading. It's spreading fast.
If you have so much grease that you get a grease fire on top of your water smoker.
You need to clean more. Speaking of dirty smokers,
what? Oh, God.
We can't talk about it because he won't let me. You guys don't understand
hey, okay.
just how much
Let's just say,
I still hold back.
Okay, no, I'll say it. I'll say it.
Knock yourself out.
If you think you got a pit snack because you lifted your pork butter brisket and it left a little morsel on the bottom, that's not a pit snack. That's not a pit snack. That's a dirty smoker.
That's a dirty smoker. That's a dirty grate. You need to clean your grates, people.
Yeah, it should not stick that much.
It should not. If you've got amazingly, well done grates, everything should lift easily. Yeah, it's just like that. That's that. And if it's sticking, you either lift it too soon. It's just like when you're getting that hard seared, that Maillard effect in a Dutch oven or in a cast iron. If the meat is fighting to come off, then you're pulling too early. It's not done sealing. It's not done sealing, or it's caked on fond that you didn't scrape and clean properly. So either way, it's not a good look. That's not a pit snack. Next up here. So we went through.
Well, we'll see how that turns out. We had a conversation about that. We'll see how that turns out.
We'll see. I'm not worried about it. Yeah. I've gotten sick enough. I'm good. I already know where I'm not getting barbecue this year. This is different. Let's see here. What is your favorite alcohol to cook with, and what does it do to your dish? My favorite alcohol to drink while cooking is obviously bourbon, but my favorite one to cook with is red wine. I love making sauces with red wines. Not so much whites. Like I'll do a little light Alfredo with some clams and what have you. But I like the extra complexity that it brings to the dish. I also like just the color. Like I like cooking with my eyes as well. And it's very tricky when doing stuff like that because you never want the sauce to break. And you never want to split your sauce, so you're just really slowly working it in, dropping those knobs of butter, making sure everything's nice and smooth, but not too much to where it lifts and separates. But that's my thing. Red wine, which I feel like is going to surprise a lot of people. But yeah, I know some cats use different cognacs and sherries and stuff like that, but I do red wines.
A good shiner and some chili. Look, man, I'm a simple dude. No, I mean, there's only one answer I can give that you'll accept, and
that's not true.
Spanish Verdejo wine for a very specific sausage.
That's very true.
Yeah.
I'll take that.
Yeah.
I'll take that.
And honestly, so that's how I approach alcohol. Is if I'm trying to pull off a dish, I will go out of my way to get the proper alcohol. I think I went to like 3 or 4 stores when I made lapchung just because I wanted to find, hopefully I pronounced it right, the Baiju wine that's made with sorghum.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And it took me a while to find it. But like I wanted to make that dish right, so I made sure I had the right alcohol to do it and not replace it with something else.
Nice. That was good. I like that.
Yeah.
Thanks, Lacey. Appreciate it. This comes from our buddy Chewy. You want to take it?
Breaking in a new smoker, what's the first thing you cook to get a feel after the briskets? I mean, the easiest one is really...
after the biscuits.
After the biscuits. Yeah. After the brisket biscuits.
Yeah. That's the line right there.
I mean, if you hate yourself, you go straight to brisket. But, like, honestly, I just go, like, a pork butt. Like, because it gives you... Like, it's forgiving in temperature fluctuations, so you can kind of dial in... You can figure out and take notes on how much wood you need to add to hit a certain to hit a certain temperature. Like if my temperature spikes to 300 3 hours into a cook on a pork butt, I'm less concerned than if my temperature spikes to 300 3 hours in on a brisket cook.
Very true.
So doing something forgiving like that, I honestly like to do like a half chicken just to see how much would I need to get hotter, because half chickens, to get that good crispy skin, you need to cook a little hotter. Mm-hmm. So that's a good way to gauge like, oh, this is how much wood I need to push the rig.
Yeah.
What are your...
So I always recommend to people, after you've seasoned it on your biscuit, I do a whole chicken. Keep it fatty. Let that fat fly, let it drip, let it coat everything, add that extra. Depending on the style of cooking you're going to be doing, make sure that thing's got some fresh herbs in there, some garlic, some rosemaries, all that stuff tied up underneath that skin. So it's, it's confit, which is just a fancy fresh term for cooking in fat, and just letting all that oil come around, and you're just using the best of it. I love doing whole birds, and literally every one of my rigs that I've ever gotten after I've seasoned, the first cook is always whole bird. Always.
So do you do the cast iron skillet underneath it with some onions?
I do. So I actually, as I'm firing up the grates and everything, I rub the grates down with a raw onion. And I mentioned this in a video years ago when I was seasoning Penny, because I seasoned her live for the first round of it. And someone had asked me what I was doing with like a handful of a ball of onion. I was like, I'm onion. And I do the same thing with the grates and my cast iron skillets. When I get a brand new cast iron skillet, I rub it down with raw onions because of the chemical in the onion that lifts that little metallic taste out, so it doesn't get baked in the seasoning process.
Oh, okay. I was going a different way with it.
Oh,
because I just like chicken. I like chicken fat cooked onions.
Oh. Well, that too. Yeah.
No. You have a more technical, like actual thoughtful things. Like I just like chicken fat on vegetables.
No. Chicken fat's really good on vegetables. I love. We had lamb fat tomatoes. It was absolutely delicious. But yeah, I rub down all my cast irons with onion, and I rub down my grates on new rigs with onions. And I do it again when I'm re-seasoning my rigs, like when I'm doing a beer, like fresh, like fully scraping everything down, polishing it up, the onions come back out. That was good. Hope that helps out, Chewy. You can... I guess I'll read this one.
I don't even know how to read this question.
If you had an American barbecue showdown.
Okay. I was reading, if you had an abs down.
Yeah. If you had an American barbecue showdown with Franklin, Malcolm, I'm guessing they're talking Reed, Chef Tom from How to Barbecue Right, Matt from Meat Church, who would win? And this is from Jay Fitch.
Malcolm. Malcolm.
I think they're, so do they mean us included or them?
Oh, I'm just going to say, let's go both ways.
Okay.
If it's just the four of them, I'm putting my money on Malcolm.
Malcolm Reed?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd have to.
Yeah.
How to Barbecue Right. Shout out. I believe he's got a podcast too called How to Barbecue Right.
Right. Yeah. Now, I mean, much love to Matt Pittman and
see you soon,
and Chef Tom of All Things Barbecue.
All Things, yep. Yeah. No disrespect there, but no, that's a solid. And no one said Franklin. That's bad.
I'm a John Lewis cat.
Okay.
That's all I'll say.
Okay. There you go. Now, if you had to put yourself in the mix, what would the ranking order be? Do you think you'd hold your own, or do you think it's a sweep? What do you think?
Okay. Are we...
So
it's not. We're not cooking competition style, right?
No. So they're going from like American Barbecue Showdown. So if you,
I think I honestly, actually, I take that back. Probably Chef Tom.
You think?
Because he's more chefy.
Yeah, but my season wasn't very chefy.
It wasn't very chefy.
I don't think it was chefy.
Yeah, but I think that's why you stood out, is because you were doing elevated stuff over. Yeah.
I think it just counts because I'm tall, so I naturally elevate myself.
You
over
naturally
everyone
stood
else.
out.
But I'll answer. If I'm in the mix, I'm sweeping. I'm
clean sweep.
Clean sweep. I'm handing everybody their business. Why? Because he said it's American Barbecue Showdown style. So I'm skipping ahead and I'm going straight to the open fire saddle cross, and I'm laying hands on everybody.
Yeah, I would love to see Franklin cook on a Lang, and then see Malcolm Reed cook on like a straight offset.
Exactly. Yeah. No, so for me, if I have to pick and like we get to choose like the setups, and it's no rigs, just flame, oh, I'm sweeping.
Yeah, honestly, now that I think about it, Matt Pittman and Chef Tom probably have like a little bit of a leg up in that, like the 4-person competition, because they've cooked on so many different styles of pit.
Yeah. No,
So-
so but that's my rig. I'm going open fire all day, and we're doing a whole animal, no dials, no knobs, no thermometers, a shovel, your knife, and a match. Let's go.
Hey, got a quick question for you.
Yeah.
I know what the answer to this is going to be. Do you inject your butts?
Man, I like my cheeks non-GMO, brother. All natural.
All natural.
All natural. No needles here. I do not inject my butts. I understand at times why people do, but I don't inject my butts.
Neither do I.
Good question, though. I appreciate it. Thanks, Brother Fritch. When are we going to see more dishes from home? Oh, I guess for me.
Working on it.
You heard Lee. We're working on it. we actively are. We really, really are working on it.
Yeah, I don't do cooking videos, so this is all you.
Yeah.
I think we've been talking about that like almost every day.
Yeah, we really are, though, guys. You guys just, if you knew how much stuff happens outside of these 4 walls, we really are working. All right. I think we can maybe do 2, potentially squeeze 3. So what's the next one we want to hit here? Oh, gosh, the petty submitted.
Here, I'll do one.
Yeah.
What's your personal record on the squat? Oh, hey, the Supreme wants to know.
Ojeda wants to do a squat off, and I told him, yeah, the moment you can donate either 5 or 10K to Smoke and Hope, I'll do it.
Well, what if we did this? There we
go.
We throw it out there. If we can raise 5K for Smoke and Hope and 5K for the Zavala Family Foundation, then we'll do the squat off.
We'll do it.
But every we get the listeners to like help pitch in, and yeah,
let's put something together. Let's figure it out. Because Jonathan hit me up too. He's like, you saw it? I was like, yeah. He's like, what are you gonna do? It's like, nothing. It's like, why? I was like, I don't accept challenges for free, and he can't afford me. I'm expensive. I got stuff to do.
But if people want to see it and we raise enough money,
then they got to tune in. I do stuff for charity all the time.
Yeah,
I'm fine. Like we run the business. We give away more than what we make. So I'm like, I've got nothing to gain, and none of the charities benefit from this. It's just gonna mess up my workout cycle. Like, fine, raise some money, do some good, then come back to me. But that's just random. That's like me going up to LeBron. Hey, let's go play a game of horse. Who are you again? Why? I got stuff to do. Do a great big positive impact for good, and then we'll do something.
Oh, he has another question. What's your favorite bite of barbecue?
Bite. That is a tricky one. My favorite bite of barbecue.
I'll give you time to think. My favorite one
Yeah.
still stands out. It was like the first time that we cooked down, you rendered down a bunch of fat from something we were cooking from Snake River and just straight up gave me like,
The brisket chicharron.
yeah, it was just like
Yeah.
a rendered down piece of fat that had been going for like 2 hours on a hot plate.
We did. It was the day we did that whole
I didn't even know fat
Wagyu
could do
roast.
that. Yeah.
It was a Wagyu roast we got from Snake River, and that's when we did on the salt block.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I was rendering it down more and more, and he was like, "What's that?" I was like, "This is just try it, just try it."
Just give it a go.
It was so good.
Yeah.
So good.
If someone's doing a whole hog and the head's still on, give me a little bit of the jowl or cheek meat.
Oh, I straight up took the ears from the hogs at Holy Smokes.
At Holy Smokes, yeah.
I snagged those ears. I was like, "Those are mine."
Yeah.
It's like I've been up feeding these. My favorite bite. Goodness gracious.
The oyster on a chicken is also really good.
Oyster on chicken is very good, which it's not actual oyster, so chicken.
Right.
I know it's not barbecue, but if I had to say like the best dish that blew my mind last year was the hot pot from King Rabbit.
No, it's King Barbecue.
King Barbecue.
Jackrabbit Philly.
Yes.
Yeah, King Barbecue is their barbecue offshoot.
You got to say the whole thing like a Tribe Called Quest.
Yeah, the restaurant is Jackrabbit Philly, and then King Barbecue is what they're doing.
Offshoot, yeah. Check them out. When I tell you, like, it was one of those moments. I have it on camera. I was walking away, and I had to stop and turn around, and I went back and talked to him. I was like, this was just such a great. I know it's not necessarily barbecue, but I counted as such because for the broth, he had smoked and broke down a couple plates of beef ribs. And that was at the bottom. And at the end, he came and gave me some. But that hot pot was definitely there. Check them out. Hit them one more time.
It's King Barbecue.
King Barbecue.
And
Jack
that
Rabbit
they're
Philly.
an offshoot of Jackrabbit Philly, and Jackrabbit Philly is outside Charleston.
Yeah.
You didn't go to the restaurant on Sunday, did you?
No, I didn't. We were back out.
Yeah, no, yeah. Everybody showed up at the restaurant because Hoodoo Brown was doing a collab with them.
I told him I'll still put money up against you and Tyler. I told him I got 2 stacks on my man right here. Anytime y'all want to smoke, we got it in Post Oak and Hickory.
Post Oak and Hickory.
Does it change the answer for either of you guys if it's just your favorite bite of meat?
I mean, I'm just thinking that when he was mentioning it, because everybody usually just says that first Texas burn-in slice of brisket. Sometimes that's everybody's favorite. For me, it's in rib. Like we talked about this last week, in ribs.
And ribs, yeah.
In ribs. Then it's very specific of like when we're saying like pig ears for you, like that cheek meat from a whole hog. Like that's like, honestly, like once you've cooked enough, it becomes like the bits and parts.
It is. It's not even the whole. It's the little things that no one gets.
Yeah, and like when we say the chicken oyster, it's literally this. There's 2 of them on a chicken. They're kind of underneath, and there's like these little pockets. Are they under like kind of the thighs on the back end? I actually, one of the best things I ever had. I guess it's yakitori, so it's Japanese barbecue, chicken tails, chicken butts.
Yep.
Chicken butt yakitori is incredible. Like they're kind of gelatinous. They got some fat. They're crispy. When they do it right, it's awesome. That's an incredible bite of barbecue.
And we'll round it out with which petty sister is your favorite today? And I'd have to say none, because you guys have been giving me hell all week. You know, I had to call in the reinforcements, and I'm glad I did. I don't care what you want to call me, because you guys literally called me everything under the sun over the last 3 days. But shout out to my brother-in-law Jeremy for coming and giving me that support. It was just vicious. It was brutal. They even dragged Corey into it. It was outrageous.
Did I get thrown under the bus yet?
You got saved by some streak of luck.
Wow.
They got distracted, but I'm gonna remind them because I need to spread this heat, man. But
let's do one more question. There's one more. Okay. After wrapping, does it make a difference if you finish the rest of the cook in the oven instead of a smoker for brisket or pork butt after the stall?
I mean, my moral compass won't let me.
It's kind of it's a point of pride thing.
Yeah, because like I've already done all of this work. Like,
I mean, if you really do want to save some wood and maybe get a little bit of rest,
if times are hard, maybe if you're cooking in a tumultuous climate, like in the I could understand it. But if you're going all out, you should work the rotation. I don't know. I've never. No,
you can totally do it. The issue is with an oven, especially if you're doing a packer brisket, you're going to start cooking the flat faster than you cook the point in an oven.
And you're going to have to constantly keep rotating the heck out of that thing because of the heat space in there. So if you've got it fired up and you've got the wood in time, you might as well. Because it's just going to be the same noise. Like, all right, well, now the temperature rotate.
Also, how accurate are ovens?
If you're using like an industrial like kitchen oven, accurate. If you're using like a home oven, not accurate, because what they do is they hit a temp and then they'll come down a little bit and then they'll refire up to like. So a lot of people say, hey, rest your brisket in the oven if it goes down to 170. You're really not resting at 170, because a lot of times you're going to go past when it tries to heat up to get back to 170. So it'll be running at like 180, 190.
You're better off using one of the plug-in Cambros that just holds it, and that's going to be better.
Yeah.
But no,
I mean, it's like if it's all you got, sure. Like some people's ovens go down to 150, and that's amazing. Like at that point, you're good. But at like 170, you're not truly running at 170 all the time.
And lastly, by Roland Smoke 8020, after a huge cook, do you ever want to eat vegetables or food besides barbecue? I never eat my Q when I do cooks. I rarely get to eat whenever I do cooks. But I eat veggies everywhere. I make sure majority of my breakfasts, 98% of them, if they're not a shake or something, start with like leafy green arugula raw and some raw cherry tomatoes.
I mean, so I try, if I have time, I'll try and make a tray for everybody, like just one tray for everybody to share to work. So you get a bite of little everything. We can take notes, see what's better. Again, learn that from the Goldies guys. shout out to them. Like I don't like I'll always give credit to where I learned something from.
There you go.
But like when I'm done with barbecue, like that's the last thing I want to eat. Like, after a service, last thing I want to eat. Thankfully, like on this last one, my friend Candy, who does Soup Belly, she sent me home with some homemade crab ragoon and some vegetable spring rolls and some pineapple fried rice, and so that was my dinner. Oh, and buffalo chicken pot stickers.
Nice.
Yeah, so I mean, I like the last thing I want to eat, honestly, is barbecue once I'm done.
I'm not allowed to say anything, so I'm going to end it there. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of This Week in Barbecue. I am your host, Rasheed Phillips, and joining me, as always, is Mr.
Brian Hull.
And the voice you see, well, the voice you hear, but the face you don't see.
Lee.
The voice you see and the face you hear.
There it is.
Or I guess I should say my full name, Lee Garman.
Yeah, why not?
Everyone else is.
Yeah, I suppose. I never said it. So I'm Sheed. I want to be known as Sheed, like Cher, just one word.
Sheed.
Sheed.
Moist.
Okay, hold on, before we go, do you want a Clay Davis like Sheed?
No,
do you know what I'm referencing?
Yes, I do, but no, I don't. And this has been This Week in Barbecue, the barbecue focused podcast that introduces you both the good, the bad, and everything in between in the world of barbecue. Please,
and I'm sorry for that last thing.
He's not. He's really he's not. Tell a friend to tell two friends, and be good to one another, ladies and gentlemen. Take care. Moist.